Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to your calendars franchise mode here in NHL 25. So last episode, if you did not catch it, we took on the Columbus Blue Jackets in the first round of the playoffs, and it was actually quite an easy time for us, which is good to see because I was kind of worried a bit that we could get cheesed potentially. Well, it only took 5 games for us to beat them. As you can see, we won 3 games in a row, 3-2, 5-3, and 5-1, so at that point looked pretty good. We didn't lost in overtime 5-4, so I was a little bit worried that maybe all of a sudden Columbus could start with win some games, but we responded with a nice 4-3 victory, and we closed them out. So pretty much every game in that series was pretty close, I would say, except for obviously game 3. But for in general, it was a good, solid team effort, which is nice to see. And hopefully the run can continue if we could beat this Pittsburgh Penguins team. Now, Pittsburgh's kind of interesting because they went 45, 27, and 10 during the season. They haven't been in the playoffs that often as of the last few years, but they do have a lot of former players on their roster, which also makes it kind of interesting. Now, Columbus, when we played them, they had some former players too, but Pittsburgh has some more notable former guys that used to play on our roster, those being guys like Matthias Eriksson, who used to be a third-line center. We let him go a few years ago. I think it was to free agency. He went to Pittsburgh, and he's been a pretty solid player this year. Was his best year with 92 points. So pretty solid player. Kind of wish we might have held on to him a little bit longer, but guys pushed him out of the lineup, basically. Also, Joshua Legg is there, which is an interesting one because Joshua Legg was a pretty solid player for us too at times. But obviously we let him go after a 33-point season, and he's been a 60-point guy on that Pittsburgh Penguins team. So a couple underrated players there that used to play with us. And then from a defensive standpoint, you can see this is what their defensive core is looking like pretty much, and their goaltending has former goalie prospect Robin Teifel. Now, this guy I didn't really remember too much, but we did draft this guy a decade ago, 4th round. Never played in our organization, but he was a selection of ours, and I guess he ended up on Pittsburgh, so that's where he is at the moment. So, should be an interesting matchup. I definitely think Pittsburgh has a kind of an underrated roster. Like, they don't have any super stud players, really, other than maybe this top line, but they are getting offense from a different lineup, or a lot of their different lines on their team currently. Like, for instance, currently I think was leading their team in goals in the playoffs right now. He's got 5 goals in 6 games, so there's definitely guys that are a little bit more underrated that we got to watch out for on this team. So hopefully we can find a way to beat them, get ourselves to the conference finals again. If we do get to the conference finals, there's a chance we might run into a Canadian team again, which is not necessarily a good thing for us. So kind of hoping if we do get to the conference finals, we might take on Florida instead. But obviously we got to find a way to beat Pittsburgh first. So that is basically that. There was no comments in last episode, so I don't really know if you guys want me to make any line adjustments or anything before we get into this round. So trying to think if we want to just basically run the exact same lineup as we were against Columbus. Like, we did pretty well against them. Obviously, if we run into some defensive issues against the Penguins, we could always take Dempsey out of the lineup because he's not really a center anyways. And we could put in Russell to make us a bit more defensive on that 4th line. So that might be one of the only things we look to do depending on how the first game plays out. Aside from that, I think everything else should probably remain the same, even though Solovyov hasn't been necessarily the best goaltender so far, like in the playoffs. He's doing better than he was in the regular season right now, but I do still find his numbers kind of weird. Like, his goals against is usually pretty good, but his save percentage is usually all over the place right now. So, like, if we even go, like, game logs, you can see in that round against Columbus, he had a 905, a 900, a 971 was really good. But then his last 2 games, even though we closed out the series, an 848 and an 889. So, not really too sure what to expect from Solovyov going forward, but hopefully he finds himself in this next round a little bit. If he doesn't, obviously, Komatov might get his first career playoff start, which obviously he's never played an NHL playoff game before, or even an AHL playoff game, so we don't really know what to expect whatsoever from this guy, but he might get a chance this postseason. So with that said, I think we're ready to get into this second round matchup and see if we can get back to the conference finals again. We've been in the conference finals like 4 straight seasons, I think, losing to a Canadian team in each of those. Like, we've lost to Toronto 2 times in conference finals, we lost to Montreal 1 time, Ottawa 1 time, so is this the time we could face off against an American team in conference finals and maybe have an easier chance to get to the Cup finals again? Tough to say, but let's get into the series and see if this team can keep on rolling. Pittsburgh won their first round in 6 games. They did knock out a pretty good Rangers team, so that makes me a little bit scared, but let's see if we could find a way to beat the Penguins and get to the 3rd round. I almost said 2nd round for some reason. So here we go. We got home ice advantage for pretty much most of the playoffs. Let's see if we can get to that next round. First period, game number 1. 1-1, I'll take it. It's better than being trailing after 1. Houghton opens the scoring on Teifel, and then Pettersson scores on Solovyov. Shots are only 12-3, so we're out shooting them badly, but Solovyov still has a little bit of trouble so far, it seems like, keeping the puck out of the net. Like, we're basically quadrupling them in shots, but it's an even game, so not a strong start for Solovyov. Hopefully he finds himself eventually. If he doesn't, like I said, there is a chance that Komatov could get some playoff games in here, and maybe he'd be the better of the two goaltenders. Can we find a way to get that lead back in the second period? Second period? 2-2. Okay, this seems like a pretty close game so far. They took the lead on a Penttinen goal, but Mäkinen answers back, so 2 finished players in that period. Shots are 24-12 in favor of us, so we're still doubling them up in shots, yet this is an even game. So I don't really like that their goaltender seems to be doing well, and Solovyov still is having a bit of a tough time, because I was hoping he'd at least find himself a bit again, but these last few games he's definitely not been super strong. So I don't know if it's the defense in front of him, or if it's just his goaltending numbers. Like, it's his save percentage that's usually pretty low, so it probably isn't the defense. It probably is the goaltending, and based on that, so... With that said, let's get to the third period and see if we can find a way to get that lead back. It's been a back and forth game. Let's see what happens. Third period underway. Come on, boys. Let's get that lead back. Power play for us here in the third. We do not score on it. That sucks, because usually we're pretty decent offensively, I feel like, on the power play. Final few minutes of this third period. Penalty kill. Nicely done, penalty killers. So both teams getting some power play chances late in this game, but nobody scores on them. And we are heading into overtime in game 1, so... I don't really like our chances because we're out shooting 36-21, but who knows? We scored first, then they scored, then they scored, then we scored, so maybe we will score 2 in a row. So who wants to be the OT hero for us? Who do I want to call on that hasn't shown up in a while? I don't even know who hasn't shown up in a while, to be honest, but I'm going to call on a defenseman. I feel like I'm going to go with somebody completely random, and for some reason the first name that came to my mind was Fisher, so I'm going to go with Fisher as the OT winner. So let's see what happens. Overtime underway in game 1. Come on, boys. Power play for us immediately to start overtime. We do not score on it. That's another wasted opportunity right there. Definitely should have found a way to capitalize on that. Damn, we're over 40 shots, but we only still have 2 goals. Come on, boys. And the Penguins win in overtime in our building. That's not good. It's Morrison scores. A few minutes left in that period, too. Final shots were 44-26 in favor of us, and we only get 2 goals. So our offense is a little bit snake-bitten. That seems like it's been an issue the last few years, though, too, in the playoffs. Like, we relied too much on our defensive play. Our defensive play in this postseason hasn't been as crazy, but, yeah, definitely Solovyov needs to be much better than that. 3 goals on 26 shots, especially when we have the most of the momentum that entire game. I need him to be better. If he doesn't play good next game, we're definitely giving a chance to the youngster, which is unfortunate. But, yeah, that sucks, man. Houghton from Biggers and Giordano, and then we had Mäkinen from Tatar and Houghton, and then nobody scored until that late overtime goal. So we need to find a way to contain their top line, though, because Eskalainen and Pettersson both had multiple points, and then Eriksson picked up an assist, of course, against us. Dadonov, who's their best defenseman, picked up a point. So we got to find a way to contain their top guns if possible, but... yeah, Solovyov had an 885. He's not posted above a 900 save percentage the last 3 games. Meanwhile, Teifel, our former goalie prospect, posted a 955. It's too bad that we gave up on some random goalies just to hold on to Solovyov in a way. Like, Solovyov has been good in the past, but this year, for some reason, he just can't find himself, and former goalie prospects like Teifel are doing really, really well. So Teifel first star, Pettersson second star, and Houghton the third star. So I kind of want to find our offensive game a little bit more. So I am going to make some adjustments already to the offensive core. But in terms of goaltending, we're going to give Solovyov one more chance. Sealfido is apparently fully healed now, which he was already in the lineup from last game. So at least he's back to full health. Maybe that'll help with his production a little bit. But I'm not going to take Solovyov yet out of the lineup. But he's played 3 straight bad games. So like I said, if he plays another one that he has a below 900 save percentage, we're going to be going to Komatov. There's a good chance we might go to Komatov regardless next game, but let's try and find a way to get our offense flowing a little bit better right now. I'm not exactly sure what we need to do, though. Let's try and move Mishenko up, maybe. How's Mishenko been? 3 points. It's not the craziest. Bigris has 6 points. Bigris has actually been pretty good. Let's swap Sealfido and Bigris around. I know it's a kind of a weird one to put an 83 on the top line, but we got to find something to rework the offense a bit. Dempsey only has the 1 goal in 6 games. He's even 0, so it's not like he's been a bad defensive player, so I could probably keep him in for now. Aside from that, we are going to swap Howden and Tatar, not Howden and Tatar. Howden and Tatar's pairing, so it'll be Howden and Holmstrom, Tatar and Schaefer. And then goalies we'll keep with Solovyov for now, but he's rocking only a 900 save percentages postseason. Like, this is definitely his worst year of his career, pretty much, at this point. Like, he obviously had a great season in terms of wins-losses, but that save percentage was too low, and it's still kind of too low here in the playoffs as well. But we are 4-0-2, so we haven't lost in regulation this playoffs, which is a good thing. But I just don't like being trailing early in the series. Like, I definitely need to find a way to get Solovyov to actually play good again. So, we are 5th in goals against, but his save percentage is pretty bad. That's kind of strange. So we need to find a way to win this game, because obviously if we lose both of our home games, we're going to have to find a way to win both games in Pittsburgh, and that's going to be quite tough. So this needs to be a win here, or else we might have to make some drastic additions to our lineup to try and fix things. So game number 2 on home ice. Can we find a way to tie the series up at 1? First period. Scoreless. I mean, I'll take it, but we haven't scored since the second period of last game. So that's a stronger period from our defense and Solovyov, but our offense is starting to go a little bit dry, which normally isn't the case. Like, that's the one thing I've been a little bit worried about, is we were a good offensive team during the season, but if that offense dries up, what does this team become? So we need to find a way to get that offense back, guys, if possible, because like I said, we need to score goals in these games. We can't be going periods and periods without scoring. Like I said, we haven't scored since the second period last game. We need to find something in the second period here, or else we need to make some more offensive adjustments probably. Second period. 1-0 Pittsburgh. We have not scored in pretty much a game now at this point. And of course, it's the former Islander and Eriksson who opens the scoring. Shots are 24-16 in favor of us, and yet we have not found a way to score a goal. So Teufel is stifling us, basically, is what I'll say. He's literally like, because in the NBA, there's, who is it? I think, Rudy Gobert's nickname is the Stifle Tower. Well, I guess this guy's name is the Teufel Tower, but he also stifles you. Goddamn, man. Shots 24-16, down by a goal to our former player. Can we find a way to tie this game up in the third? Because if we lose this game, like I said, it's going to be a really tough hill to climb from here on out. Third period underway. Come on, guys. We need that next one. We need that next one. Don't care who it is on our roster, but somebody on our roster, please score. Please. Oh, my goodness. This is one of those ones that you're not going to score any goals, huh, boys? Our team just can't find a way to score anything, but there's a goal. Schaefer ties this game at 1. I was thinking he could be the OT hero last game, but decided to call on somebody else instead. But a 1-1 game. We're going to overtime for the second consecutive game. So far, we have not won a game in overtime, I don't think. But we still have not lost in regulation this postseason, which is kind of interesting. We only have 1 goal on 35 shots, though. So we are definitely outplaying them in the series so far, but we aren't getting any puck bounces, which is not great. So can we find a way to win in overtime and tie the series at 1 apiece? Overtime underway. Come on, boys. Please get me that second goal. Don't care who it is on a roster, but somebody, and Pittsburgh wins again in overtime. It is Perry. And I know that's not Corey Perry. I forget what his first name is, but we outshot them 35-24, yet we still lose. So our offensive game's trending downwards. Our goaltending numbers in that game is much better, but I don't really care at the same time. Schaefer from Sealfido and Eriksson's are not Eriksson. Giordano's their only goal. Of course, Eriksson, though, had a goal against us. God damn, man. So a 917 save percentage from Solovyov. So like I said, much better game from Solovyov, but we have not been able to find ways to score consistently against this Penguins team. Like, we're literally getting destroyed by our former goalie prospect right now after 2 games. Like, I think he's posted a 970 save percentage in both these games. Somewhere around that. 3 stars of the game, Teufel again, Eriksson, and Solovyov. Of course, it's literally 2 former players that I drafted and Solovyov as 3 stars, and we lose that game. It's frustrating as hell, though, because literally we've had the pieces in to win a Stanley Cup, but they always seem to go and be successful on other teams. And like I said, Pittsburgh's barely been in the postseason, yet they're finding ways to beat us right now. So we need to make some adjustments to try and get the series tied back up. We need to find a way to win both games in Pittsburgh, or else it might be having to be one of those things where we come back on a reverse sweep. If we go down 3-0 on another OT loss, we could definitely reverse sweep, but still, this is not where I wanted to be right now. So we're going to go Ragnarsson top line. Biggers is going to play with Giordano and Cialfito. We are going to move Dempsey out of the lineup. Even though he's an offensive guy, I'm going to take him out. And I'm going to put Russell in. And then from a defensive standpoint, we're going to go back to Tatar Houghton. And then we're going to split up Schaefer and Holmstrom, I think. Maybe. And I don't really like putting Schaefer down on the top 6, so that's the only problem. I think I'm going to go to... I'm going to keep Solovyov for one more game because he played good last game. If he doesn't play good this game, no, Komatov's coming in. But I don't really know what I need to do to make this offense better. Like, we have such a good-looking offensive core, but they just don't do enough in the postseason. It's kind of strange. I don't really want Russell on the power play on that spot, so I got to give that to somebody else. Maybe I'll give it to Schaefer. Because Schaefer is a two-way defenseman, and he's a really good overall, so sure. Let's put Schaefer on that second power play. And see if that helps anything a bit, but... I don't really know what to make of our team. Like I said, I really like the looks of our team on paper, but it's kind of frustrating when it doesn't do what I was anticipating it to do. I'm going to move Kazanov to a different penalty kill unit and put Russell on that first line with Shen. That's why we brought those guys in, so we'll put Kazanov on this unit instead of Savage, because Savage just probably takes too many penalties. So we will go with, where is he, Kazanov? Yeah, Kazanov down here. Give him some penalty kill time with Makinen. Oh, goddamn, man. Losing 2 games in overtime. We are that close to being up 2-0 technically, but just not enough. So it's going to be the home ice trend as well. So maybe we respawn with 2 wins in Pittsburgh, but this is not looking good. Like I said, our defensive play is pretty good this postseason, and our goals for is still apparently good, but most of that's because of last round. We've had a lot of 1-goal games in this playoffs, though. So offense has definitely been a bit of an issue. Because against Columbus, we won by 1 goal there, 2 goals there, 4 goals there, 1 goal there, 1 goal there. And then we've lost by 1 goal the last 2 games. So a lot of our games have been close, which is not necessarily what we want to have. We want to have some games where we blow them out, but god damn it. I don't even really want to get into game 3 yet, but we have to probably. Like, I don't know if Russell in the lineup is going to really do much for us because he's obviously not more of an offensive player, but he was good when he was in the lineup. Might as well make that 4th line a bit stronger. So with that said, let's get to game 3. See if we can find a way to win some games in Pittsburgh. If we don't win any of these games, or we win only 1, we have a huge hill to climb. So let's see if we can start clawing back potentially. Game 3 in Pittsburgh. Can we respond on the road? First period. 2-0 us. Okay, that's a good start. Much better offensively. Makinen and Giordano. Giordano scored with 6 seconds left, so 2 late goals in that period. We're out shooting them 18-8. So for the 3rd straight game, we are outplaying them, which is good. And we do have a 2-0 lead, which is good. But obviously our offense is known to dry up, so I don't know if our team's going to just score 2 goals in the first period and then go quiet the rest of the game, or if they're actually going to still continue to pile it on. So can we hold on to this lead in the 2nd period and not allow the Penguins back in this game? 2nd period. 4-1 us. Okay, this is looking like that game against Columbus where we won 5-1. Tatar scores to make it 3-0. Kazanov makes it 4-0 exactly 2 minutes later. And then Domingue gets the Penguins on the board. We're out shooting 33-18, up by 3 goals. Let's lock this one down and take this first game in Pittsburgh. Penalty kill to start off the 3rd period. It's a long penalty kill because we're now on the 5-on-3. We get a goal right afterwards. It's Makinen again, but of course former New York Islander leg scores to make it a 5-2 game. Pedden makes a 5-3 game. Come on, Solovyov. You got to shut down the door, man. They are coming out hard a little bit in this third period, but still 6-3 Mishenko. That's a big goal at this stage. And that's enough to give us the victory as we win 6-3 in Game 3 in Pittsburgh. So that's definitely good to see our offense show up. Not the strongest game still from Solovyov, but most of that was the third period. He allowed 3 goals on 32 shots, so maybe he's starting to find his game a little bit. But that's good to see our offense show up in this one. And hopefully we can find a way to tie the series in the next game. Like I said, we need to find a way to win both these games, not just one. So Makinen from Houghton and Karain. We had Giordano from Sealfido and Bigris. Tatar from Ragnarsson and Houghton. Kazanov from Ragnarsson. Makinen from Houghton. And Mishenko from Houghton and Tatar. So Houghton showed up with a big game, as he typically does. 4 assists for him in that game. And then Ragnarsson, Makinen, and Tatar all with 2 points. A couple guys on 1 point. And Russell was a -2 in that game. So maybe I shouldn't have put him back in the lineup. But he probably was good at faceoffs. No, he wasn't. He was actually really shit at faceoffs. 25% on the faceoff dot in that game. So we might honestly take him back out again next game. But 906 from Solovyov. I mean, it's better than the below 900s he was posting before. So 3 stars in that game. Houghton, Makinen, and Tatar. I still don't really know what to think of our team. Like I said, I really like that game from an offensive standpoint. And now Bigris has been injured, so that's actually going to make some adjustments. So that's actually kind of good, maybe for the youngster and Dempsey to get a big chance this year. All right. I mean, it kind of sucks, but I maybe could change some things. So, big win on the road. I guess Russell will stay in the lineup then because Bigris got injured. But that means that Dempsey is going to crawl into our top 6. Which is actually kind of good for him. I think he should relish this opportunity. He has only 1 goal in 7 games, but he's a sniper. 4.5-star shooter. You put him next to 2 good playmakers like Sealfido and Giordano, he should do really well. So I'm going to keep him exactly in that spot. And then we're going to go back to the power play number 2. Actually, you know what? We won't give him some... Actually, no, he does get on the power play, I guess, because of the injury to Bigger. So that's good. We will give him some chances here and see if he could provide some offense on that top 6. But Biggers was one of our best players so far this postseason in terms of point production, so it is a pretty substantial blow when he had 7 points in 8 games, but he did only score 2 goals. So we'll see what the youngster could do, but if we could find a way to win this game, it becomes a best of 3. So just got to find a way to win another game on the road, and then we could come back still in this. But I don't really know if I still want Solovyov in net. Like, I like his goals against, like I said, but save percentage is an issue, it seems like, with him this entire year. So let's keep it the same for the most part, other than Dempsey coming in, obviously. Let's see if we could tie the series up. If we lose this game, though, we need to win 3 straight, so it's kind of scary a bit. But definitely, last game was a lot better in terms of scoring goals. So if we could do that again, we definitely could start to win more often. So can we find a way to win this game in Pittsburgh and tie the series up at 2? Let's see what happens. Come on, guys. Just build off last game. Play better defensively a bit maybe, but get that offense going again if possible. First period, game 4. 1-0 Pittsburgh. That's not good. We might be going back to not scoring again. Eskalainen opens the scoring quite early on. Shots are 14-13 in favor of us, so pretty even first period in terms of chances. Not a bad first period from Solovyov whatsoever, but we are not scoring goals again, which is not good. So I really hope Dempsey could come through with a big goal here. Like I said, he's getting a big opportunity to play in that top 6 right now with Bigris out. And there's a chance maybe we have to look to move out somebody like Bigris in the offseason so Dempsey could get more ice time or something like that. So hopefully Dempsey can find a way to tie this game up for us in the second, or somebody else in this team could. So let's see what happens. Second period. 2-1. Okay, at least we're still within 1. They did make it 2-0 Eskalainen again, but Crane gets us on the board 32 seconds later. Shots are 29-25, but we're down by a goal. So Teufel is kind of still stifling us. We're only down by a goal. We could definitely find a way to tie this up if we get that offense that we did last game. So don't allow this to be one of those games that go to overtime again like game 1 and 2. Find a way to win this game, boys. Let's see what happens. Third period underway. Come on, boys. Just tie it up. I know you have the offense in you. Guys like Houghton can score goals. Makinen can score. Makinen scores. There you go. But they answer right back. It's Ansis. That's not good. Or Anstis, I should say. I don't even know how it's pronounced. Come on, guys. Oh, my goodness. And, of course, Pettinen scores to make it 4-2. We're going to be going down 3-1 in the second round of this playoffs because of those 2 goals. God damn, man. We outshot them again, 42-37. Yeah, we lose 4-2, which means we need a hill to climb, and that hill to climb is pretty damn steep. It looked like we might have been able to get that game back to overtime when Mäkinen scored, but we literally allowed a goal 6 seconds later from Antis. So, yeah, our former players are kind of killing us right now a little bit. And Crane hasn't done enough this year. Usually he's always on his game, but this year he has not done a lot for us this postseason, I feel like. God damn, man. That's not good. I'm going to have to make some more adjustments here, which means Komatov is going to come in next game. That could have been the last game of Solovyov's career with the Islanders. Like I said, he could be heading to free agency this offseason, likely he is. But we need to make some more adjustments to try and find a way to get our team simulating better. So I think we are going to go Dempsey first line just because maybe that could get him going. But right now he's not proven to me he's a good goal scorer yet. Aside from that, Ragnarsson needs to be scoring more goals too. Let's just put him on his onside, I guess. Defensively, we'll keep with that. I could go best lines, but I don't think I want to do that. And yeah, like I said, Solovyov hasn't been good enough to me. So we are going to go to Komatov as a starter for this game and see if maybe he can get us back in the series. Is there anybody I would call up from the AHL? Bigris is still not fully healthy yet. Nielsen's technically ready. He's a depth forward as a top 6 prospect. Definitely would be playing with us next season, but I don't think he's going to give us much offense yet. Defensively, is there anybody? Erzberg could potentially play, but he's an offensive defenseman as well. Granato's pretty much ready. He's also an OFD. There's all these OFDs that are pretty much ready, but Nicholas is pretty much ready to be a backup in the NHL too. But I don't really want to call up anybody from the AHL yet, so yeah, likely for sure next season it's going to be Nicholas and Komatov running our goaltending situation. I don't really like to let go of Solovyov, but he's turning out to end up being like Rick DiPietro in terms of his jersey number, and his save percentage and stuff is just not good enough. Like his career regular season in general, I guess, hasn't been that insane, like a 905 career save percentage, but playoffs, he's a 914 usually, so he's still definitely doing below average this postseason, but only 1 regulation loss at this point. If our team would just find ways to win in overtime, we wouldn't be in a situation like this, so let's keep the team the same for the rest of this, though, and see if we could find a way to get back into series, but we need to win 1 game at a time and try and force this back to a Game 7 somehow, but right now it's not looking likely. It will be the LA Kings playing probably Utah in the Western Conference Finals right now, and Montreal swept the Florida Panthers, which means if we find a way to somehow come back and win this, we're going to be literally going up against another Canadian team in the conference finals, so not great, but let's get into this game and see if we can keep our season alive. We should be doing a lot better than this, but Pittsburgh is surprising us. Let's see what happens. We're back on home ice. Come on, boys. Just take 1 game at a time, or 1 period even at a time. See if we can find a way to tie this up. Come on. Let's get that first goal. Power play for us. We do not score on it. Probably should have made some more power play adjustments or something, because their power play hasn't been contributing much. There's another wasted power play. Another power play goes by the boy. We literally had 3 power plays and we didn't score a single goal. But we do score first with 1:50 left, and they answer back literally 26 seconds later. Dandino ties it up at 1. Of course, literally as soon as we score, they answer back. Now, what's interesting is they do have a different goalie in net this game, so we aren't going up against Teifel anymore. I was going to say Stifle, but Teifel. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if Teifel got injured early in the game or what, but obviously we're running our backup as well, so. And this is his first career playoff game, so. Shots are 14-7 in favor of us. It's a 1-1 game. Can we get that lead back? Second period underway. Come on, guys. Ivanov makes it 2-1 Pittsburgh, and Leg makes it 3-1. We're definitely losing this series at this point, unless we answer back here soon, which we don't. Our power play's been dreadful in this game. And I think that's probably the main reason why we're losing some games. But I've made some adjustments too. But this team's going to be going down 3-1 going into the third. Potentially, no, maybe not. Mishenko makes it a 1-goal game going into the third period. Shots are dead even, 23-23. It's a 3-2 game going into the third. If we find a way to win this period, we could stay alive. If we lose this period, the season's over. We need somebody to step up here. Come on, they have their backup goalie in net. Let's find a way to tie this one up here. Third period underway. With our season on the line, and Ashton scores. Good to see Ashton on the board. That's a nice little one because he hasn't scored in a while. It's a 3-3 game. Let's go. Penalty kill here. Big penalty kill. Yes, it is a big penalty kill because Mäkinen scores right afterwards. We have taken back the lead. It's a 4-3 game. Final few minutes, and that will be the final. We barely escaped that game. Shots were quite even, 39-37. We win 4-3, and we have forced to game 6 back in Pittsburgh. All right, so this team does have a little bit of resiliency in them. So Crane from Mäkinen and Fisher, Mishenko from Ashton and Kazanov, Ashton from Houghton and Ragnarsson, and the game-winning goal, Mäkinen from Crane and Dempsey. Nice to see Dempsey on the board with an assist. But, yeah, Mäkinen's usually one of the guys that shows up the most for us, and Crane showed up with 2 points. So as long as these top guys actually perform, that'll be huge for us. Giordano, Cialfio, and Ragnarsson didn't do too well. And a 919 from Komatov, so I probably will keep Komatov in because his save percentage has been much better so far than Solovyov. So Mäkinen, Crane, and Ashton, the 3 stars of the game, all with 2 points and all with multiple hits, especially Crane. Crane likes to throw that body around, but he is a power forward, I think. No, he's a two-way forward, actually, but he plays kind of like a power forward. So we are still in the series, but we got to find a way to win another game in Pittsburgh. We've won one before, and it was a 6-3 game. Just got to find a way to win one more, and we could force a game 7 potentially. As Biggers is back for game 6, so that's kind of good. So we will take Dempsey out of the lineup and probably throw him back in again. So we will go to Biggers on that top line, and we are going to take Russell back out. How's Russell played? Yeah, he's still a -2. So I'll take Russell back out, and we'll get Dempsey back in. Even though it does make us a bit more offensively minded. And then from a goaltending perspective, I think we're going to run Komatov again next game. I got to make sure he's in net, though, just to kind of give Solovyov that extra break a little bit. But if Komatov can get us back into the conference finals, maybe we want to keep on running him. Maybe the old guy's a bit too run down at this point. So we'll just go back to goaltending, and we will go back to Komatov again. We've always been running like Russian and Ukrainian and stuff goaltenders. It's kind of interesting. Or, yeah, all those type of countries that used to be in the USSR. It's interesting. Yeah, ever since even Sorokin and Varlamov days. Huh. So I think, yeah, that's what we'll run with. I feel like I should make some adjustments to the power play because it hasn't been simulating that good, though. So what we're going to do is I'm going to move Gio up to there. And I'm going to move Cialfito to the second unit. I'm going to throw Holmstrom on the first unit. So that way we have 2 offensive defensemen back there instead. And then Schaefer could run this one. We will put... Ragnarsson's a good shooter, right? Yeah, 4-star shooter. We'll put Ragnarsson on the point. And we'll give this line a power playmaker like Cialfito. And see if that helps anything out a little bit. Just trying to find any way to get that power play simulating a little bit better. And the rest of that will stay the same. So Dempsey goes back to the 4th line. Our power play gets readjusted a little bit. But we look to tie the series up here. If we could just find a way to win in Pittsburgh, there's a chance we could win back in Game 7 on our home ice. So, can we find a way to win another game? Like I said, take one game at a time. It will be Utah and LA in the Western Conference Finals. Winner of this series will play Montreal, as I mentioned before. So, can we force a Game 7? Let's take it slowly. Let's not give them anything. Let's play good again. Real-time sim. Hopefully Komatov can play good again. Because the last game he was pretty solid. Come on, guys. I believe in you, boys, but you got to show it to me. Power play for us. With those power play adjustments, we get a power play goal from Mäkinen to make it 1-0. Good stuff. Power play again from us. The refs are giving us a lot of chances early. We didn't score too much, but that's okay. We got one, and Dandino ties it up for them. That's not good that we didn't score multiple, though. And it will be 1-1 after 1 with the shots 11-7, so pretty even period for the most part. Komatov is doing exactly what he did last game, though, which is allow a goal from Danino, basically, and only allow 7 shots on goal. So he's made 6 saves in both of his first 2 games in the first period. Usually he gets better, I guess, as the game goes on, but even period so far. Let's see if we could respond to their goal here. Second period. And they immediately get a shorthanded goal, and it's Danino again. So Danino has scored 3 goals against Komatov so far already. It's just not great. So Komatov has a guy that knows how to score on him, and Mishenko answers back for us, which is good. Penalty kill, and Leg scores a power play goal against us because, of course, our former players like to score goals against us. And we answer right back, though. It's Kazanov. This is a crazy second period. It's going to be 3-3 going into the third. Shots are 26-14. Peros is still in net for them. I didn't even realize that. So Teufel might have gotten injured. He might have gotten injured. I got to definitely take a look at that after this game, if there's a game 7 probably. But shots are 26-14, favor of us, so we are outplaying them. So far, Komatov isn't doing too well, which is not great. We need him to have a good last period here if possible. And then hopefully our offense can find a way to get the lead. So third period underway. Let's see if we could extend the season a little bit longer. They get the lead, of course. To start the third, it's Eskalainen. Komatov's still having a tough time. Do we have an answer to that? It's been back and forth all night. Penalty kill again. Stop taking penalties. We get a goal from Holmstrom to tie it at 4. This has been a crazy game, man. Absolutely bonkers. Back and forth all night long. And we are going to be going to overtime in Game 6. Well, since there's a chance for us to get eliminated here, we're going to be jumping in and watching this game and seeing if we could extend our season a little bit longer. I don't like normally jumping into these type of games, but since it's an elimination game and we're looking to extend this to 7, let's jump in and watch this. Oh, man. Hopefully you can find a way to just get an overtime winner, get it to a Game 7 back on home ice. But this has been a pretty crazy last game potentially of the season. So let me just make sure I do not have the sound on. Yes, I don't. Okay, good. Don't need no music. So let's see if we get extended to 7. And if so, who wants to be the hero for us? Kind of sucks to be on the road for these type of games, but let's see if we can find a way to silence their crowd. So Mäkinen versus Pettinen on the draw. 2 Finnish players that probably play together on a Finnish national team or something. Ivanov with the puck for the Penguins. He finds Eriksson. Eriksson finds Eskalainen over to Ivanov. He shoots in a big save there by Komatov to start off this OT. We're running around a little bit here to start overtime, which is not great. And a big save again there by Komatov. This is the first time you're seeing Komatov out there. He has some true pads, but they kind of look a little bit old school because it doesn't have a lot of color to them. Nice hit there by Howden, I think that was. Yep. Oh, man, I'm going to run out of oxygen just talking so much sometimes during recording these. Wow, Howden's actually leading the entire NHL in playoff points, so he's been doing a really good job this round still. Here is Tatar. Tatar finds Mäkinen. Mäkinen finds it up to Biggers. Biggers now in the lineup, walks in, and he scores! Biggers with maybe the biggest goal of his career. He walks around a defenseman and snipes it in, and we have forced a Game 7 back in New York. That's an absolutely huge win on the road, and that was a nice little goal too. A simple wrist shot too. I'm kind of surprised their goalie didn't have that, but that's a big win for our team. Of course, it's Biggers scoring a big goal though. That's because his name is literally Biggers, but wow. I think he's scored some clutch goals for us in the past too, but that was like a nice little move. See, he gets the defender going, and he gets by him. He has a passing option in Crane, but he decides just to shoot it back in the lineup with a big-time goal. Big win there. Eskalainen gets third star for the Penguins, 2 points. Mäkinen second star, 3 points for us. And of course, he gets an assist on that game-winning goal. Let's go, Biggers. What a move. He walks around. I don't even know who that defenseman was. Oh, it was their best defenseman, too. I think it was Dadonov. Or Dadonov, whatever you want to say. But what a shot. And then the first star of the game, it was Hugo Danino for them. All right. A lot of guys had 2 to 3 points in that game. A couple guys on 1 point. And an 8.26 from Komatov. We're probably going back to Slovyov for Game 7. which is unfortunate. But Peros was in net for the Penguins, and Hobbs is the backup, so I think there actually must be an injury to what is his name? Teifel. I want to say Eiffel, and then I want to say Stifle and all that stuff, but yeah, to Teifel. So we will definitely check on his injury and see if he's back for Game 7 or not. But we are going to go to Solovyov just because this could be Solovyov's last game. But if we find a way to win this game, we go to the conference finals. If we lose this game, at least we came back in the second round, but I would really hope that we could win this one. So let's just double check our lines are good. So yeah, Biggers on that top line, like I said, is fine because he just won that game for us there. I'm pretty sure he's had some playoff game-winning goals in his past, right? Yeah, a couple of years ago, he had 2 game winners. A couple of years before that, 1 game winner. So he's got 4 game-winning goals in his career in the playoffs, which is pretty good. So shout out to him. And then goalies, yeah, we're going to give Solovyov a chance. That might be a bad thing to do, but he has been better than Komatov, basically, based on save percentage. So, yep, we're going to go with that and see if this is good enough to get us to the conference finals. Let me actually go back to injury report, though, because I do want to take a look at Teifel and how long he's out for. And he's injured with an injured arm, so he will not be back for this game. He is out until basically he'd be back for the conference finals if the Penguins find a way to win this one. But yeah, he injured his arm, I guess, in one of the games. That's crazy. That actually might have changed the complexion of the series because he was playing really good so far, and Peros has not been good against us. So can we find a way to beat their backup goalie and get ourselves to the conference finals? Last round took us 5 games. This round going the distance to 7. Winner will play the Montreal Canadiens. Let's see if we can find a way to win it. We're back on home ice again. Let's get her done, boys. Build off that momentum off that last game because that OT winner, absolutely huge. Let's see if we can find a way to extend our season for another round. Come on, boys. Let's get her done. And my voice is really sore, man. Giordano makes it immediately 1-0, scoring on one of the first shots of the game. And then Ashton scores a power play goal to make it 2-0. Yeah, Peros is right now losing the Penguins this series. If they still had Teifel, they probably would have beaten us. But Peros is definitely making it hard for the Penguins to win games. Savage scores his first goal of the playoffs, I think, to make it 3-0. And then Pettinen scores to make it 3-1. So it's going to be 3-1 for us after 1. Shots are 15-13 in favor of us. So good offensive start for us. A lot of chances for both teams. A lot of open ice, I guess. Can we find a way to keep this lead intact in the second? Just don't blow it. Just do not blow it. Second period underway. Come on, boys. Let's hold on to this lead. Let's get some insurance. Man, I feel like I'm literally going to lose all my voice all of a sudden. Too much oxygen in my lungs right now. But we're up by 2 goals. Can we find a way to just keep this up? Just keep it up. Playing good defensive hockey here in the second. That's good to see. And we're going to still have that 3-1 lead going into the third period, but the shots pretty even, 24-22. If we could hold them off for another 20 minutes, we could find ourselves in the conference finals, even though we were down 3-1 at one point. Our team is showing some good resiliency here this postseason. But obviously, this is still the second round. If this was the conference finals, I'd feel even happier, but at least it seems like we might be able to find ourselves back in the conference finals for another straight year. So can we find a way to lock down on this game and close out the series? Third period underway. Come on, boys. I believe in yous. We got it this far. We could definitely go farther. Ragnarsson makes it 4-1. That's a big goal. Mishenko makes it 5-1. We're actually going to come back from 3-1. I was not too sure if this team had it in them, but we're finding our offensive game in this one after a big goal from Biggers in Pittsburgh. And we will be going to the conference finals once again. And we will be once again taking on a Canadian team in Montreal. So hopefully this time around Montreal finds a way to lose. Because if we lose to a Canadian team again in the conference finals, it's just literally repeat after repeat at that point. Even with our roster going through a lot of changes over the last few years, we always have similar results, which is kind of strange. So in the first period, it was Giordano from Kazanov and Carlton. Then we had Ashton from Crane. Savage's first from Carlton and Ashton. So a lot of depth scoring showing up early. And then Ragnarsson from Tatar and Mishenko from Giordano and Carlton. So Carlton had 3 assists in that game. So shout out to the top 6 defensemen for doing a lot of work in that one. 3 points plus 3. Gio and Ashton had 2 points apiece. A couple guys on 1 point. And then from a goaltending perspective, Solovyov was the right guy for that Game 7. Hopefully he has found himself now, and maybe he can do that type of stuff for us in the conference finals. 3 stars of that one, Solovyov, Ashton, and Carlton. Let's go. I feel like Ashton's been still a pretty solid addition from the Nashville Predators, so kind of glad we have him into next year. And oh no. Oh, that's not good. That's actually pretty dreadful. I don't know if he'll come back this entire playoffs at this rate. I mean, technically we aren't even we're just starting the conference finals next, but Makinen, who's been our best player arguably, is out with bruised ribs, and he's out till June the 1st. I'm going to go replace player for the time being, but that means he will not be back until the Stanley Cup Finals if we get there. He's going to be missing this entire round against the Montreal Canadiens. God damn, man. That's absolutely dreadful. To have an injury like that. Let me go to edit lines first here, but that would put Russell on the top line. Obviously, we do not want that. So we're going to have to move everybody up. So Gio is going top line, Ashton second line, Dempsey third line, I guess. Yeah, which is good because he'll be happy with his ice time, but he's not really a face-off guy. So we'll actually, he's 74 is not bad. I could put Kazanov down the middle instead, but it seems like Dempsey's better suited for that spot. So we'll go with that, and the rest of that will stay the same, but I need to go check the power play here. We don't want Russell on this unit, so we're definitely going to go to Gio down the middle. And we are going to put somebody else on the wing here that's not really on the power play. Somebody like... Is Mishenko on the power play? I think he's on the second, right? No, Mishenko's not on the power play whatsoever. So we'll give Mishenko top line power play time to try and give some more offense to that line still. But that is quite the blow to us after giving us a nice win. Goddamn, man. June the 1st. So yeah, he literally isn't back till the Cup Finals if we get there. Because if we look at the calendar, Game 7 would have been on the 28th. So hypothetically, depending on how quick the Western Conference Finals goes, if we do get to the Finals, he might even miss like 1 or 2 games of the Cup Finals if we get there. So that is quite a big loss at this point in time. Especially when we look at the points, we'll see that he's probably one of our best players right now, right? Other than Houghton. Let's take a look at some team stats. Actually, let's take a look at player stats, and we'll do the team stats because we'll do a comparison with Montreal. But let's actually just go by all positions right now. So Houghton's leading with 17 points in 12 games, and he's also plus 15. So Houghton is still fantastic as shit, and it's not really a surprise. He has not dropped off whatsoever either. Love this guy. Gio on 15 points has been great. Makinen's on 12 points, so... Technically, the best forward, I guess, is Gio, but Makinen has been one of our best forwards. He's leading us in goals. That's a really big loss. Crane, 11 points. Tatar on 10 points. Ragnarsson, 9. Mishenko. Yeah, it looks like we're still getting some pretty good depth scoring, I would say, for the most part. Definitely want maybe some guys to start scoring a bit more, but, like, Schaefer's actually been pretty dreadful. Him and Holmstrom have both actually been pretty bad, that second pairing, in terms of plus-minus, at least. But they could just be unlucky. Like, look, literally our second pairing is that badly plus-minus, and our top pairing is this good in plus-minus. It's kind of strange. All right. In terms of goaltending numbers, Solovyov has only lost 1 game in regulation. He's got a .908 save percentage now, so he is improving. Komatov has won both of his games, but not great numbers. So good chance Solovyov will start again in the conference finals. All right, let's do a little comparison with the Montreal Canadiens, see who's better at what. Let's actually start with the regular season, then we'll take a look at the roster and their stat leaders and all that. But if we go to Western Conference here, not Western Conference, Eastern Conference. Damn, I'm used to my Oilers series now. They were the 3rd best team in the Eastern Conference that made the playoffs. 13 points back of us. They scored less goals per game than us. They allowed 1 less goal, so we're both good defensive teams. Power play percentage, they were better actually on the power play, surprisingly. And penalty kill, they were way better. So that's kind of interesting. 7 shorthanded goals to 11. All right. 9-1 in their last 10 games. Goddamn. Yeah, they were the best team in the Atlantic Division. So let's also do a playoff comparison, see if anything's changed between our two teams from the regular season. So we are 8-4. They are 8-3. We are both scoring around the exact same amount of goals per game. We're scoring a little bit more. Goals against per game, we're a little bit better defensively than they are, but very similar. Power play percentage, we are a little bit better by like 2.7%. And penalty kill percentage, we are much better. So maybe our power play could get going against their team, which is good. 5-1 on home ice for them, 3-2 on the road. Okay. Yeah, we're still pretty even combatants, I feel like. So let's take a look at their lineup, see what's working for them. But it has been a few years since we played them, I feel like, in the playoffs. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, let me actually look here on my YouTube videos. Yeah, we played the Canadiens in episode 88-77. Those were both... Actually, the Canadiens were in round 1 that year, so in around episode 88. So we had played them recently, but it was in the first round. Last time we played them before then was the conference finals. And before that, we only played them in round 1 one time. So... yeah, we don't play them that often, but we have played them in this conference finals positioning before and lost to them. So here's what they're looking like. First line of Ryan Rubrick, or Rubrick, I think it's Rubrick, I don't even know. Cash Alder East is still there, and Eli Anthony is still there. Similar top line to it's always been. Second line, Cameron Addison, Oscar Moeller, and Matthew Fraze. Third line has a 38-year-old Uri Slavkovsky, and next to Jordan Franson and Devin Agostini. And a fourth line, a Jackson Lupel, Rene Leroy, and Tyler Lee. All right. So they don't really have that stud on offense, but Anthony's pretty much their best player. But they have some lower overall guys that could probably pick up points. So going to be a pretty interesting matchup. Hopefully we don't get cheese because of that. From a defensive standpoint, Caleb McCardle is their best player now. He is the offensive defenseman we've seen up there in points recently. 67 points from this season. Yeah, I remember playing this guy multiple times now. He's playing with Par Tarnstrom, who I think might be new. I think he might be new. Yeah, he was on Minnesota last year. Or actually this season, and then he got traded. Huh, alright. Young 26-year-old defenseman. Second pairing has Landon Morrison with Mario Otterize. And a top 6 pairing of Maxim Shirokov and Ricard Peltola. So their defense is definitely a lot different. Because when we played them last, I think they still had Lane Hudson. I think he's since retired, if I'm not mistaken. So their defensive core is kind of interesting. Some okay pieces, some not so okay pieces. And then their goaltending, Jeffrey Somers, I remember him now. Somers is always a threat. He is always a threat. Even if his numbers don't look good at times. Like last year, or actually this year so far, he's 7-1-1. He doesn't have necessarily great numbers either, kind of similar to Slovyov. But look at the year before that, 9-26. Year before, or 2 years before that, in 9-32 through 22 games, and they lost in the finals. So yeah, Somers could be really good out of nowhere. It's never won a Vezina, but he can be good. And they also have Vyacheslav Suglobov, which I think is a former goalie prospect of ours. No, he wasn't. I feel like I've had this guy at one point. Or maybe I've seen him in free agency. Yeah, that's probably it. Or maybe it was when he was with a different team. I thought he was one of our former goalie prospects, but maybe I had a different Suglobov. Huh. Alright. Maybe that was a different series too. Scratch, they have Keith Lowe. They also have Jose Hines. What a name. And Nasir Lindsay. Alright. Where have I seen Nasir Lindsay before? Oh, just Montreal, I guess. Huh, alright. So, I don't think Montreal is that big of a threat, but we've lost teams like this before, so I can't say that they're not a threat. I just can't. Interesting. So there is that. So winner will go to the Stanley Cup Finals either against LA or Utah. I feel like we were in the same predicament recently, too. Because I feel like it could have been a Montreal-LA Stanley Cup Finals when we were in the conference finals last against them, and it didn't end up being that way. And I remember Utah's been getting far a lot in these playoffs recently, too, but they've never won. Or maybe it was Seattle that was actually getting far, I'm not too sure. I think we definitely should be able to win, but I do not really know what to think. We did just win 3 straight games against Pittsburgh, though, so we could probably still ride that momentum potentially, but The loss of Mäkinen is going to probably hurt us a little bit for offense, which is not great. So with that said, that's going to do it, guys, for this episode of your Calendars franchise mode. So in next episode, we're going to take it to the conference finals against another Canadian team. Not really a surprise in the Montreal Canadiens. So literally like 5 straight years of facing Canadian teams in the conference finals. We played Montreal one time before this. This is going to be the second time. We played Toronto 2 times in conference finals. And we've also played the Sens 1 time. So hopefully this is the year we can find a way to win 4 games against one of those teams. And hopefully we can get to the finals and find a way to win the Stanley Cup. Send anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.